Here come the players right now. It's the locals against the Loonies. Another opportunity for players to catch the eye of the US Sevens coach Mike Friday, who just texted me earlier about a couple of players he's keeping his eye on. So this is a wonderful moment for them and their families watching as well.
It's so rare, Madison, you talked about this earlier, it's so rare for these international players to get to be able to play in front of their family and friends. Usually they're all over the world traveling. This just adds to that. It's so exciting for their families to be able to see them, not just on the big screen, but here live in person.
So many of the World Series events happening in the middle of the night back home. So no, it's fantastic for these players. And I think it's really good for the international players to get to play against the best of the domestic scene. I think it used to happen more a few years ago, but now it's quite rare. So really good to see.
Rugby is such a growing sport here in the U.S. We all get so excited. If you're a new fan tuning in, you'll see why we're all so hooked on this beautiful, amazing sport. But again, this is why you need to have this competition. Let's help bring the level of play up and keep growing the sport here in the USA.
Cisco Lopez and his beautiful hair and lovely moustache says, let's go. The referee kicking off from right to left. Receiving on the right, in fact, in black, it's the locals. A long kick. They choose to attack as they whip it to that far side. Ross Deppersmith into the plate. Loonies in white on defense. Regan involved there too. Just a missed ball there. Matai Laiuta, the captain now, picked up by Taya Nosa. He's been brilliant this year, Nosa. At the ripe age of 32, going on 62. Oh, and huge contact in that corner. Oyem Honian taken down well. And Nosa, the first receiver, looking for some solid width here. Well, Zacconi fires a short ball. Deppersmith, as he's done in Major League Rugby with Nola Gold. Lovely ball. Owen Bromball on the run, the rampage. Will he have the legs to go the distance? He has the fin and the legs as well, plus the dive. That's 10 out of 10 from the commentary booth.
Really well worked try from the locals. Had a couple miscues deep in their own end, but showing the ingenuity, the creativity, the fortitude to fight through that. Had some numerous players, Zacconi was one, break a couple tackles, find the offload. Taya Nosa in particular did really well right on his own try line to fight through some tackles, buy time for his support to get there, and it ended with a try from Bromball.
Yeah, two players that have really stuck out for me all day today from the locals, Taya Nosa and Matai Laiuta. And of course, bringing them all the way to this game, but you see other players like Owen Bromball who are backing themselves here and leading their team. They've only had 2 try scorers up until this point.
Yeah, Bromball moved to Victoria, BC in Canada when he was 18 to chase the rugby dream. Well, it's certainly alive. He's doing great things. His younger brother, Tate, is a published comic book writer in Toronto. I'm sure he'll be tuning in, writing about this game. 5-0 the score. The locals lead. Taya Nosa to get things going again. Belmont Shore Sevens national champion. Dating myself to say I played with Taya Nosa back in the day, and he's still going and I'm not. Well, don't know how he does it. Father of 6, 4 boys and 2 girls, and not the best kick, so give an opportunity to the Loonies to come back.
Testament really to how long Taya Nosa broke onto the scene really young, came out so strongly. He's such a talented player. His footwork, his balance are really incredible. Had some challenges over the years with numerous things that have stopped him really from performing at his best. So it's great to see him. He's great performance in the club scene, and here he is showing on the national stage.
Here comes Chris Matino and the Loonies. Matino with a lovely dummy, and then flicks it over the top, busting for the corner. That's the dive and the punch down. Giovanni de Jorn is deadly as a cobra. He gets in for the equalizer.
Yeah, really well done there. It all started from Chris Matino there, who has been on the Sevens scene for quite some time. Also most recently playing with Rugby United New York in the Major League Rugby 15s competition. Of course, you see he makes that outside defender on the locals bite, which just releases Giovanni de Jorn for the score.
Yeah, a player who's spent some time in Canada for the first 8 years of life before moving to Atlanta, Georgia. Conversion unsuccessful. Tied at 5 apiece after Giovanni de Jorn's great work from the 24-year-old. That's Laiuta. Tying out a late replacement here. Without Carlin Isles, Adam Channel and Marcus Tubola are the local side, so 3 international players missing. So Laiuta put his hands up, the veteran, to step in. Doing a great job leading his side. Deep restart. Straight out.
Interesting here, the Loonies have had 2 kickoffs. The first one going straight out of bounds near the midfield. The second one going much deeper this time. Not sure what kind of tactics they have on the kickoffs, but that's something that you have to be really 100% on if you're going to win the sevens game.
Owen Bromble taps and goes. A little starter step from him, looking for Enosa. Ducks back. Just keep away. Oh, behind the back flick. It's been knocked back. Just a little knock-on advantage.
Yeah, no advantage. We'll come back to the knock-on.
Yes, just the tackling player coming in, and as he's going to wrap the ball carrier, his hand's just blocking that pass. It was a really neat backside little flick out of the back of his hand, but the tackler's hand just preventing that from getting to his supporting player. But if that had come off, that would have been quite special. Yes, that was Bromble again showing his class, but not quite going ahead this time.
Yeah, great little player. Played with the Canada Under-20 side silver medal at the Junior World Trophy in 2015. Still locked up at 5 apiece.
No, his head just hasn't actually.
Lopez says, let's pop back up again. Great opportunities for the officials too to get great experience. Cisco Lopez on the Sevens World Series made a debut in Canada in recent times.
Coach!
Just so great for live rugby being back. Everybody involved with the locals. Leuta in midfield, the big frame. Matai Leuta with a big step and going. Look at him. Leuta in open space. Looking to see where some of the black jerseys are. Finally arrives in Zarconi. Now Brumble. Enosa, oh, what a dummy, Enosa! He's fooled 15 cameramen around the world, a couple of commentators and some fans as well. He's a delight to watch, is Ty Enosa.
Ty Enosa with the elaborate dummy. His hand seemed so far away from his body, and the defender couldn't keep his feet with that. A little ankle break from Ty Enosa, showing his class, showing what he's about. And all the trickery puts the defender down and is jogging in for a nice try for the locals.
Well, he's got to be that good. He's got 6 kids to wrangle around the house. They've got to fall for those dummies from time to time. 12-5. The locals lead the Loonies.
Just some excellent class stuff, as you said here, Madison, making it look way too easy for us up here. Just really sat that Loonies player down, and he looked back and just said there's nothing I can do there.
Ty Enosa, Belmont Short legend, also played with the San Diego Legion. Favorite players are Christian Cullen and Matt Gitto, who he played against in Major League Rugby. Gitto involved the Australian International with the Los Angeles Guillotines. So professional 15s and now professional 7s here in North America. And it's thrilling to see. Enosa drives this one low to the Loonies. Matina. Shane Moore's on the field. He's got a lot of speed as Moore, but he goes to the outside. Finds Matt Jawiecki, who gets shoved into touch by the big frame of Leuta.
It's been touched by another person. Nah, it's still touched first. That's a lie.
Just unfortunate for the Loonies there again. That's
Loonies, here's your one.
getting tackled from into the sideline is not something that should happen very often. Again, you see that big hit right on your big screen in the living room right there. Again, just an error that the Loonies should not be making.
Big Matai Leuta waits in midfield. Regan takes this one, does well to Enosa, and then he just says, let's go to the break. Let's get the oranges. They're up 12 points to 5. The locals lead the Loonies here in the men's consolation match here at the 2021 Premier Rugby Sevens Inaugural Championship. We've got the cup finals for the women and the men coming up later. Stay with us. Welcome back here. You got Peter Seo chatting to his side, coached with Salty Thompson, the locals. They're up here against the Loonies, and it's 12-5 the score. The locals lead here in the men's consolation game at the 2021 Premier Rugby Sevens Inaugural Championship. I'm Dallin Stanford alongside Madison Hughes and Brianna Kim. And it's Ty Enosa that scored just before the break. Restarts, comes to Roderick Waters, who goes into touch.
Okay. Yeah, so first knock by Black, then by White. First knock off Black, then
And I don't think Roderick Waters really expected that ball because of that first knock by the locals there. The locals riding a bit of momentum heading into the half. I think the Loonies started off pretty strong, and then it switched halfway. You wonder what the coaches said to them at halftime to see who actually sets the tone in the second half.
Loonies have possession just outside their 22. Chris Martinez at first receiver.
No, it's their ball.
Shane Moore lurking on the wings. Gone backwards, it's all right. Play on. Moore now on the outside. Can he get a bit of distance between him and his opposite number? Oh, yes, he can. Then two of them shuttle back in. So great ball to Martina midfield. Chris Martina, what a lovely line. Support runner with a mini mullet. On the outside takes on Enosa, then fires a one-hander infield of plate. Still been ripped by his side. The Loonies in white. Maintained possession miraculously. Moore flicks it away. Looking to come back to that short side. They go into the contact. Jared Douglas. Matt Jawiecki, the 30-year-old, is in there too. Shane Moore, a lot of space to operate. Moore can go. Drifts on the outside. And he punches one in. It's the Loonies that start flying here in the second half.
And that was really all started by Moore on the left-hand side there. There was, a big couple of gambles that the Loonies took in that passage of play, but again, paying off the dividends and opening up space on the right-hand side. The locals' defense just a little bit too fragmented, and Moore coming out with the try.
Exactly what the Loonies needed coming out of half-time. You'd imagine their half-time team talk was me to settle down. We're doing a lot of things well. We can't afford to make any mistakes. They've done exactly that. Gone through a number of phases, stretched the defense width to width. And if you do that, the defense will get tired and there will be gaps, as we saw Moore exploit there.
Well, Shane Moore, I saw him earlier in the week and he said, you need to talk me up on the broadcast. And then he didn't fill out the bio information. So thanks, Shane Moore. I love your work, my friend, but I need more intel. 12-10 the score so far. The locals lead. It's a good look there at Patrick Regan, playing the Bermuda World 10 Series, captain of UCLA Rugby. Devereaux Ferris to restart. All off the left, awkward looking kick. He will want to make sure we burn the tape or any copies of that.
I think he's a natural right footer, and it's a great skill to have, having the right and left foot, but yeah, when it goes wrong, it can go very wrong.
12 black.
It's the toughest part as a kicker, right? And I think especially for the USA men, when you look at someone like Folau Niua, it makes it look so easy every single kick. And in reality, it's not. You can play off of your dominant foot so strongly, and then to try and get that ambidextrous other foot to do the same thing, it's incredibly difficult. And like you said, Madison, it can really look pretty bad afterwards.
Here come the locals in black. Hooker there, Patrick Regan, who grew up on a farm. Appreciates the outdoors. He had sheep, pigs, chicken, cows, even llamas, he said. No wonder he's so good at tackling. Here's Leuta, steps off the left, a couple of big bumps from the big body, but gives away a penalty, leaving their feet on the ruckers. So they tap and go through Devereaux Ferris, looking to get on things with Martinez. Been full of running so far. Lovely little switch coming off the win. Aki Raymond is a nightmare to contend with. Throws it over the top to Moore. Drifted forward is the call. Frustration, though, for the locals and the Loonies.
Yeah, Aki Raymond with initially some great play, stepped twice, getting defenders attracted to him, and then that long missed pass, and if you're left hand, it drifts in the wind. It's easy for that to slide forward, and that's unfortunate. Aki Raymond has had a great day so far, but not one he'll look back on fondly.
Aki seeming a little bit surprised by that. Something that I've liked from the Loonies thus far in the second half is their really definitive running lines off of each other. I think that's what's really making the locals hesitate on defense.
Leuta for the locals. Very experienced international for the US, goes down the side. Leuta is so dangerous, he could sink the Titanic on himself. The big frame gets in the corner.
I remember the first few times I saw Matai Leuta, I was like, it is not fair for a man that big, that far, to be that fast and have footwork like he does. It really is incredible, and those are the sort of athletes that dominate on a rugby sevens field. It's the guys with size, with feet, with speed, and it makes it an absolute nightmare to defend, and the US has been blessed to have a number of those, and Matai Leuta is right at the top of that list.
Leuta, so fun to watch. The big frame motor. A late addition to this Premier Sevens. Loving being here on the big stage as well.
Great story, Matai Leuta. He turned up to an open tryout at the Chula Vista Olympic Training Center, earned his contract that way. I think he hadn't revealed to his mother that's where he was going, because she's protective of her little boy. But he's certainly a force to be reckoned with on the rugby pitch.
He really is. Played the Rugby World Cup Sevens in 2018 as well. All over the world representing the US in sevens. 17-10 the score right now. Moore does really well to juggle and keep it in the field of play. Does Shane Moore. Hands it off to Ferris. And now in midfield, they've got Jawiecki. Drifts across, does well. Finding speed on the outside. Duyorn. Giovanni Duyorn. One-handed ball back in field. Jimmy Haley's there. Haley for the locals, look to keep it alive. Spinning free, still there for Regan. Aki Raymond comes in, big contact. Goes slightly higher, now he's on the ground. Here come the locals yet again. Bruising tackling. Jimmy Haley, second time involved, gives away a penalty though. Ferris and the Loonies. Can they come back and equalise here? And play taken out. Sits up for the locals. A little bit of space to operate, just over the halfway line. Sunday Ajay, who got involved there too. One-handed pass back in field. Ajay now. Bodies everywhere. Battered and tired in this energy-sapping tournament, but they bust free to the locals. And they'll get it done underneath the sticks. Waiting for chasers to come. Rosh Deppersmith doesn't have to put it down until somebody comes. Cisco Lopez says, how's my hair? Oh, it's good, all right. Now here comes Devereaux Ferris, just soaking up the clock of the locals. Try Deppersmith.
Well, that certainly killed some time off the clock. Look, when you're watching a sevens game, 14 minutes seems like nothing, but when you are playing on defense for 30 to 60 seconds, it is absolutely exhausting. And that's exactly what the locals did to the Loonies here. Just really went back and forth. There's no stoppage in play, really tiring them out, and the locals able to get that try that just ultimately changed the game for them.
Final score in this game belongs to the locals, 24 points to 10. They beat the Loonies. Coming up though, we've got some big games coming up here. It's the final. It's Loonies against the headliners, and Naya Tapper is one to watch in the Women's Cup Final. Up next.